Call this collective committee meeting to order. This evening we have a work session. We have the Director of Community Resources, Susan Poole.
Thank you for your continued support and generosity of our clientele. I also want to introduce, I have a board member from CRS with me tonight. His name is Nathan Honold. Nathan?
Hi, Nathan.
He's our treasurer, head of our finance committee. He's been on the board for a number of years, so thanks for coming, Nathan. Real briefly tonight, I promise. As usual, I have the two handouts with the statistical recap and then the financial report that goes along with that. As you can see, food continues to be the biggest part of what we're doing regularly, followed by our holiday programs and our back-to-school programs, the latter to impact the children of our community. Just some highlights, I think, from this first sheet, which is the color sheet with the pie chart on it. 281 families in Avon Lake were served last year. So just to give you an idea, because everyone always asks this question, how does that compare to Avon? Our total household number last year was 477. So 281, the Avon Lake households are about 59% of our overall household number. Interestingly, to me, too, about 80% of our seniors are from Avon Lake. So we have a much higher low-income senior population in Avon Lake than in Avon. Also on this sheet, if you look at the overall service units, 5,612 service units. That's any time we provide any type of service to anyone in any way. So that could be a loaf of bread from our shelf up to, half of someone's rent payment. So the total of the year was 8893. So 63% of our overall service units were delivered to Avon Lake residents. People always ask me how this compares to years past. Are we seeing any trends? I tried to find one on the number of families served, but honestly, it's been kind of waffling the last couple of years. Our families in Avon Lake last year were up about 20 from last year, which really isn't that significant, but we're down by 27 from the year before. So, overall, I think we're seeing some people that are not needing us anymore, but then we're getting new families in, daily, weekly. So the next report would be the grant report, which is, I'm sure, the most important. And this just shows how we spent the money that we receive. As you can see, utilities and rent were really big for us this year, 52 utility payments and 21 rent payments. If you look at those numbers, you might think, oh, wow, those are a lot of payments. But if you look at the average amount that we paid per service unit, it was $175.42. So I think it's really important to note at this point that, we have a very, very stringent set of guidelines that we follow. We're only allowed to do things like one rent per year, one utility per year, per family. So how does this solve someone's overall problem? Usually not wholly. Oftentimes we have to go to others. We have to go to other agencies and reach out to partners and say, okay, we have a family here who has an $800 rent payment. Our guidelines only allow us to, pay $300. Is there someone else that can partner with us? And so we do an awful lot of that, and we're very lucky to have some good partners on that as well. The only other thing I thought that was to be highlighted on this sheet is our overall financial assistance to Avon Lake residents last year was $56,386.67. So as you can see, the Avon Lake donation is a very, very significant part of what we do. It's about 30% of our overall cash assistance. So we're very, very grateful for it, and it is a very big part of why we can help families the way that we do. One thing that we're really trying to focus on this year is educating ourselves on the other resources that are out there. We started as resource and referral, and because we've had some success with fundraising and getting grant support and things like that, we've been able to do a lot more in-house than we ever have before. However, we don't want to lose sight of the fact that there are a lot of agencies in Lorain County that do other things, that do the same thing that we can partner with. So we started a new strategic plan last May, and one of the objectives is to educate our staff on what else is out there, to make sure that we're spending our own money wisely. If there's a government program out there for like a utility or something, that, why would we be using CRS money if we could refer to someone else? So we've been working really hard to do that, as well as bringing those folks into our office to do in-services for the staff. We just had Lorraine County Health and Dentistry out last week.
Next item, Mr. Miners.
Thank you. We have budgeted $42,541.80 for the purpose of Meals on Wheels. It came out of committee tonight 4-0. Again, Mrs. Dobb, I'm going to ask to suspend the rules and declaring an emergency next Monday night. And in talking to the mayor this past week, he assured me that all this money, almost $43,000, goes towards feeding the residents of Avon Lake.
This is a resolution that actually Elyria, Lorraine, and a number of cities have passed dealing with 2017, 2018 budget-related item dealing with income tax. State mandating centralized collections of net profit tax returns and other provisions related to the municipal income tax. And we'll charge a fee, right now it's 1%, to do that. And in talking to Mr. Presley, when this initially came out, there are some concerns in terms of why they're taking the money, when we'll get the money back. That's going to affect our general fund, and also we'll have to pay a fee to get the money back. So, Mr. Presley, maybe you want to explain, first of all, the centralized collections of net profit tax returns, what exactly that is from that aspect of it.
What they're looking at is for the state business gateway to actually collect, or the State Department of Taxation to actually collect the net profits from all the businesses. The difficulty is in the fact that this would be one area of tax collected by a different entity other than the Regional Income Tax Agency, of which we are a member. RETA, as it is known, collects all other income taxes on behalf of the city and remits to us twice a month those collections that they have received in the previous 2 weeks each period. What I have read so far and understand through the state is they are looking to collect only the net profits. There has been no discussion as to when those collections would be turned over to the political subdivisions. They do quote a fee of 1%, but that is subject to change at the state's whim. We have no authority or any vote or any oversight into any of that. And there is concern that this could, with them doing the net profits, could lead into a creep of the state trying to collect other municipal income taxes and usurp a home rule relative to us in the contract with the Regional Income Tax Agency. As a board member of RETA, RETA, the Regional Income Tax Agency, is strongly opposed to this on many fronts. The first being the fact that we are already under contract with them and have that right to join in that contract. The other is that, as I had stated, we don't know when we're going to be getting these monies turned over to the city, which puts us in a cash flow situation. The fee relative to that is not up to our control or oversight or any of those issues, and so 1% could quickly become 5%. Who's to know? And so the agency is opposed to it. We are working with all relevant people down at the state to get them to remove this from the budget bill. But certainly each member municipality of RETA is being encouraged to pass such a resolution.
So what do they see as the state's advantage on this? Is this something easier for businesses, or?
Mm-hmm. They are indicating in going through the business gateway, but I would challenge you to try to get on that business gateway at any time during the day. And many times, or I would say 8 out of the 10 that I've tried to sign on, it's down for work. There seems to be some issue relative to trying to get onto the business gateway. And so I don't understand how it's easier for the businesses to conduct that through the gateway when, one, you can't get on, and when, two, all of their other income tax still has to flow through the Regional Income Tax Agency. So all of their withholding would go through the income tax agent, Regional Income Tax Agency, and yet only net profits is, at least under this current bill, only net profits would be redirected over to the state. And there's been no discussion as to whether or not the state's going to share that information with RETA. And then going further, the Regional Income Tax Agency has the ability to look at the actual federal income tax returns for these entities and to match that up and ensure that what they're reporting for federal purposes is what they're reporting for local purposes.
So we don't even know, we get it twice this month. On a regular basis, we get 2 collections a month. Is that correct from Rita?
Yes, we do get, we get an advance prior to the 5th of the month, and we get a reconciliation 2 weeks later for everything that was collected in the prior month.
And they haven't really said how they would collect the money. Like, you're going to get it once a month, or?
They haven't indicated once they collect it if we would get it monthly, if we'd get it quarterly, semi-annually. Heck, we could get it annually.
Because the other thing is, you're holding on to the money, and the longer you hold on to the money, you're getting interest on the money. You're making money on the collections on a regular basis. When you look at it from a statewide basis for all the cities, it's pretty substantial.
Absolutely.
So I wanted council members to take a look at it, give me your input on it, and just wanted to bring it out. So, Mrs. Fenderbosh.
Yes, I had two. 2 weeks ago, I was actually asked to step in for the mayor for an Eagle Scout award for 2 gentlemen, Alex Garby and Joseph Novis. And I have to tell you, I was so impressed by what these 2 young men have accomplished with their lives. Both of them have academic honors. Both of them have Boy Scout Leadership Award after award after award after award. Alex Garby, what he did for his Eagle Scout project was that he put in a total of 104 hours, and he built several display cases for the Folger home to display historical artifacts there. Joe, or they call him Joey Novis, he put in over 70 service hours, and he built bookcases for the Avon Lake High School's math department. And both of these young men have, you could just tell that they just had such a command of not only the English language, but being able to represent what they had done, and to describe what they had done. A lot of young people, when they stand up before a room, and this room was packed. I know a lot of you have been to Eagle Scouts. There's been 30, maybe 50. The American Legion Hall was packed. Larry, how many people would you think would fill?
Minors?
285.
285, so there were at least 250 people there. And both of these young men were just so at ease. I was so impressed. So I wanted to congratulate them here. I wanted to thank the mayor for thinking of me. It was just quite an honor, Mayor, to be able to do that.